Oh man, I'm gonna need a drink for this one. Heyo! So, a while back I saw and talked about Unfriended. It was pretty stupid, but at least somewhat entertaining. Yeah, social media horror, that's the thing now I guess, and well, gotta keep up with the times, right? I've covered Megan is Missing a long time ago, and well, that was shit. Also, a lot of people have been recommending me The Den, which I also watched, and you know, I honestly didn't think it was all that great. A more recent example is #horror. And I'm not even being ironic with the hashtag, that's the actual title of the movie, #horror. And sure, it mostly got shitty reviews, but it was like, you know, let's just check it out. It might make for a funny video, and how bad can it really be? Well, pretty bad. After a cringy social media fight version of the Enter the Void title sequence, we follow a bunch of 12-year-old girls who all meet up at this one girl's place for a sleepover. All they do is play on this weird app where you post a photo or video with just one comment and then people can like that. And there's some kind of ranking system. It looks terrible though, also visually, and they shove it down the viewer's throat throughout the whole movie. It's so cringy. What even is this app? Someone's creeping up on some 12-year-old girls and taking photos? Yeah, gotta like that. Dude, at one point someone is terrifying a 12-year-old girl half to death and that brings in more likes than I get when I post a new video. What the hell? And yeah, perhaps that's the point, but I'll come back to that later. Anyway, whenever they're not being completely self-indulgent, social media obsessed, horrible kids, they're just bullying the hell out of each other. Really, and that's basically the whole movie until perhaps the last 15 minutes. These kids are freaking annoying. They're these typical spoiled, self-centered, social media obsessed, snotty ass kids that I wonder if these kids like actually exist in real life. There's just absolutely nothing likable about these characters, and that's a big problem when you have to spend, you know, basically the whole movie with them. At one point, one of the girls says,
"We all have something we do to get through the day, okay? Being 12 sucks."
Boo-hoo, yeah, must be hard, you know, when your parents are so rich that they don't know what to do with their money. Jesus Christ, come on. A little later, after the kids decide to lay off their phones for a while, which almost seems like a parody.
Can't you just stop looking at that? Maybe turn it off for a while? Put it down? Can't you do that?
That's impossible. No one can do that.
They open up to each other in an attempt to get the sympathy from the viewers. Because, they're all just victims of neglectful parents and whatnot. And as sad as that may be, at this point it's already way too late to start caring about these characters. Really, all I really saw was just a bunch of 12-year-old girls all just bullying each other. And bullying sucks, and you know, I believe it's a real issue, of course. But this movie does nothing to really illustrate that, because there's no victims. It's just bullies bullying each other. And yes, perhaps they're just doing it to fit in and blah blah, but I don't get it. Is this supposed to be a satire, like on how kids these days are like so indulged in social media? And then there's some cyberbullying thrown in, you know, like they all post mean stuff about each other and they all get like a lot of likes on that stuff. But at the same time, there's also just, you know, old school, real life face-to-face bullying. And then later they throw in some random backstory about a slasher ghost. And one of the girls, well, it's sort of the main girl that we follow, she's suffering from some kind of like hallucinations or some illness, but none of the above is the main focus of this movie. It's a complete mess, and well, that sucks, obviously, but also because I feel like there is a good movie in here somewhere. It's just really well hidden. But seriously, it looks great. I love the cinematography. There's some weird angles that kind of give it an uneasy vibe. And then a combination with the location and the isolated setting of the house where most of the movie takes place, it does set up the right dreadful atmosphere. It honestly looks great. And I love the original soundtrack. At one point during the movie I was like, hey, what is this sound? Do I know this? So I sound hounded it. Turns out it was part of the original score. Yeah, I actually even bought it on iTunes. I think it's really great. And at one point they use Beethoven's Symphony No. 7, which I also love. But ever since I've seen it being used in Sion Sono's Love Exposure, I feel like you can't really top how it's being used in that movie.
愛がなければ私には何の益にもならない。愛は寛容なもの。慈悲深いものは愛。
But yeah, that's what I mean with there is a good movie in here somewhere. It's just, oh man, it's really poorly written. The kids, well, their performances obviously aren't that great, but I feel like they at least tried, you know, but given the script that they had to work with, everything just came out sounding ridiculous. And besides these kids, director Tara Subkov, she invited some of her hipster friends, most notably Chloe Sevigny, and there's two cast members of Orange is the New Black, and you know, all of these people, they can act, but they're just so underused in this movie, it's a shame. Also, wasn't this supposed to be a horror movie? Because it definitely doesn't feel like one. It's just stupid kids on their stupid phones bullying each other. I went into this movie almost completely blind, but had I known that this movie was mostly just a bunch of 12-year-old girls acting like a bunch of 12-year-old girls, I probably would have skipped it altogether. I felt old and awkward watching this, since literally almost the whole movie is just these kids being fucking annoying. Towards the end they insert some horror elements, but by that time I had already lost basically all interest in this movie. The only unintentionally funny thing was how one of the girls' dad goes berserk on the rest of the girls. I mean, geez, look at him. He's crazy. But besides that, it's really just a mess. A good-looking, great-sounding mess. Really, there is just no focus. I have no idea what this movie was going for, you know, what it was trying to accomplish. It's just I'm pretty sure that it failed at whatever it was set out to do. So yeah, hashtag horror. Check out the soundtrack. Peace.